Hey, all you writers out there, it is time to dive into very hot topic here at the Write Your Bestseller podcast. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I'm with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer. My company is Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I coach Joanie to write her best-selling memoir, which we published here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. And now we've been going live for more than 2 years to talk about everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote an amazing book. So, Joni, welcome.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good to see you. You look great. I only see you on my computer today. I don't see me. So I hope everything is good on that end.
I
So
see you
I'm
and I hear you loud and clear. So, let's dive
perfect.
in.
That's what matters. Hi,
Yes.
everybody. Glad you're here.
So, the hot topic today is something that is very controversial, and it is the use of AI for writers of books and publishers. And so, we are going to talk about the pros and cons of using AI for writing. It's such a huge controversy, and some authors are so upset about it. They are actually writing in video live online to show their readers that they are writing from their heart and soul and their brain, not using AI to compose their books. They're also mad that some people are composing books, especially like in the romance genre, which is very formulaic to get big book deals from the major publishers with books written by a computer. So people are very angry about that. But Joni, you and I are old school. We believe that, just like these writers who are protesting, writing comes from the heart and the soul and the spirit and our brain because of our life experience. That is the source of the genius composition that we do word by word from our own brain. So, Joni, can you talk about the importance? Because when you wrote None Better and then we did Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts, all of that writing just poured out of your soul. Can you talk about the purity of that process?
Oh, absolutely, Elizabeth. Yes, when I wrote None Better, my heart literally exploded, and words, emotions, feelings, and experiences, uh, good, bad, indifferent, all the memories, all the heart of who I was and who I am, literally came forth in words, in sentences, in paragraphs, in that book. And I know it was vulnerable for me to do that. It is absolutely totally raw. It's it wasn't just I was relaying the insides of my heart, not what somebody sees when they look at my face or they look at my body or they look at my hair, they look at my eyes, but it was the inside about writing it. And I think that's what has made it such a great success. I didn't hold back anything in terms of
Uh-huh.
my own self thoughts or my own prayers or my own connections. And
Wow. Wow, Joni. Wow. So when you hear, it's totally like foreign to you to use AI to do your writing, but when you hear about people trying writing books and selling books and making money based on something that the computer wrote based on their prompts, what are your thoughts?
my first thoughts are I want to be open minded. I want to be open minded to how technology can improve our life, all of our lives. But at the same time, I do not want to lose the personal element because if we lose the personal communication skills, then I think that we're doing us a disfavor. At the same time, technology is so advanced and so moving forward. I want to be open to it, but let's be smart how, when, where we use it. So an example is, I do a radio show, and after I do the recording of the radio show, myself and the team at KCIW, we write a little description of what the show, the topic is about. And so the team over there, they run it through AI. It comes back to me and other people to edit it. And then from there, I can say, hey, yeah, that's accurate. That's a factual thing that happened in the radio show. Let's throw some heart into it. Let's throw some personal stuff into it. And so that's how we end up doing it. We do a combination of the AI and my heart and their heart in editing it. And I think that's working really, really, really well. I would not do AI by itself.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So that's a really excellent example of real world experience and exposure that you have to, um, can you still hear me, Joni?
I sure can. You're loud and clear. And I want to hear your opinions too, and everybody else's, but I want to hear your opinion, Elizabeth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I use ChatGPT for a lot of things as a writer and publisher, and it really is wonderful as a support tool. For example, when I'm editing a book and there is an end note in the book, I use ChatGPT to format the end note, which is like a footnote, but they're all at the end of the book instead of cluttering up the pages throughout the book. I
Okay.
use ChatGPT to format the end note with Chicago Manual of Style guidelines. And so I don't want to wrap my brain around how to format that. So ChatGPT does it in a blink. And that makes my work faster. I love it. I also use ChatGPT to organize thoughts and ideas and to make sort of a to-do list or action plan. I use it for so many things like that. I also use it for researching different things that I need to better clarity on, or sometimes for grammatical questions that I have about words or punctuation and verbs and such. So I use it as like sort of an assistant. I do not use it to write books. I do not. I believe that just like you, writing comes from the heart and soul. And when you're telling stories, it's coming out of your brain, your experience, and it's in your words. So you just can't replace that or it's not authentic. So I stand with these authors who want everyone to know that their writing is authentically their own. Now, a lot of writing contracts, book publishing contracts have a clause, or now they're adding
Oh,
clauses that
oh,
say AI was not used for the composition of this book.
oh,
Yeah, that's really
that's
important.
cool.
Yeah, so people are contractually obligated to write their own book. Now, I can see where there's huge temptation if you've ever used ChatGPT and you give it a prompt to write, say, for example, a chapter or even a blog post. You put in the prompt, you just type it in, and it literally instantaneously writes it before your very eyes. Something that might have taken you hours, days, even months to write is done like that. And it
Mhm.
sounds great because AI draws from all the content on the internet to compose something wonderful. And then the more you use it, the more it gets to know you and it incorporates everything you've ever put into as a prompt. And it's remarkable. So I can see where the temptation would be there. But
Right,
again, writing a book is an authentic, raw, real experience from your heart, soul, and brain and life experience.
right.
So, so Joni, have you ever heard of any writers using AI to write their books?
I have not. I have not, and I guess when I hear the words AI, Elizabeth, artificial intelligence, it's intelligence versus EQ, emotional quotient, IQ and EQ. And I think that's the big difference for me. And I don't know if you've ever taken the Myers-Briggs test. I'm an ENFP. So that means I'm an extrovert, I'm a feeler, I'm intuitive. And those are the kind of things that come out from my writing. But no, I've never heard of anybody in terms of authors writing from it. I've heard of people like you described for formatting or for gathering research. I've heard of that, but not in terms of an entire book. That
Mm-hmm.
that that blows me away. And I guess, Elizabeth, I'm going to pull this out, make a comment, and then I want to ask your opinion of it. I believe in my heart of hearts that as an author, we are, both of us, we are artists. And I look at people that are great artists in terms of paintings or drawings or music, but a different kind of those artists. That's not an AI art thing. That's their soul coming out and expressing that on a beautiful, whether that's a mural or a graphic or whatever that may be, or in their musical playing, somebody playing the piano or guitar. Those are artists that are expressing their heart. And I don't think that's an AI thing. I think that's an internal thing. Thoughts about other artists in AI?
Well, people are using AI to compose images. I used it to compose the images in my goddess books, and I love, love, love them. And it saved me $4,000 because an artist told me that's how much it would cost to do the illustrations that I was seeking when I described them.
Wow,
So
did
I,
not
s-
know that.
yeah, and this was several years ago. So I saved $4,000 by doing it with AI. I used it in one of our suites of the Adobe suite. It has Firefly. And it was my first time using it, and I was astounded that I made the images exactly as I wanted. You just type in the prompt describing what you want. And you read my Goddess Power book,
Yes,
and you saw the images, and they're colorful
yes.
and beautiful and lush and exactly what I wanted. And so, again, I saved the money, I saved a lot of time, and I did it myself, which that sense of ownership was exciting. So, artists are using AI to create imagery. But I love, Joni, what you said. But I don't think that, look at all the great paintings like Picasso and others. Those were done again from the organic substance of the artist's vision. And that can't be replicated by a computer. It just can't. It's just the classics and the all the artists that are out there who are so talented, who do creations from their heart and soul, just like we write that way. It's the same thing. And so, Joni, I love what you said about emotional intelligence. A computer cannot have emotional intelligence. That is a uniquely human trait. A computer can mimic it based on what it's gathered, but and programmed with, but emotional intelligence is everything. And as a writer, we have to have emotional intelligence because we have to be able to appeal to the emotions of our readers, and that's what keeps them engaged. And so we write from the heart, and that tugs on the heartstrings of the readers, and that enables them to cry, to laugh, to feel inspired, to just really be amazed and in awe of the storytelling, swept away, like in your book, None Better, when you have the scene from the rose garden, which I love. It just made me feel joyous, and I had tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful and it touched me so deeply. Yeah, the way you wrote it. And that was from your heart. And I
Right.
don't know
It,
that,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I don't know that a computer could have written it any better than the way you did because I felt your emotion. You poured your emotional intelligence into your storytelling because that's your authentic self.
Mhm. And I think that's what love is.
Yeah.
Love is an emotion, and trying to describe your love for somebody or whatever whom I'm just thinking of a person in particular, but love is so powerful. And I think if you throw the word empathy in there, and when you can, you, me, the world, when we can show empathy to people, I think that's how we dispel hate. I think that's how we bring about peace. And I don't want to get too philosophical or religious here, but at the same or spiritual. Um, but when we can have empathy for somebody who doesn't understand you or doesn't agree with you, and have I faced that through my whole life, and then in the LGBTQ world, that's huge. The amount of hate out there and the amount of discourse. But when you have empathy for somebody and realize they don't understand, they don't get it, it's beyond their heart and their mind. And if we're empathetic, I think that's how we can bring about peace. I think of Martin Luther King. I think of Oh my gosh, Mandela. I think of all these great people in the world that were so, I mean, 7 years in jail down in Africa, South Africa, and here he is expressing and doing his thing in a beautiful, empathetic way.
Yes,
I think
yes,
that is
yes.
something that you write about and you speak about and you live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that word empathetic related to all this?
Well, I entirely agree. And I think empathy is one of our greatest gifts. Many people completely lack empathy. And I love that you just mentioned Nelson Mandela, the first black president of the South Africa who spent decades in jail under the apartheid system. And his story is one of the most powerful stories in world history ever. And so that's a perfect example when he wrote books about his experience, and when Dr. King wrote books, and when any great book that's a memoir that you've read by someone who shared their story, it touches your heart because they wrote from their pain. They wrote from their triumph. They wrote from their authentic voice. Like my mother's book, The Triumph of Rosemary, a memoir by Judge Marilyn E. Atkins. People say they loved her book because it was very conversational. They said it felt like she was talking to them. And she just totally kept it real. She didn't sugarcoat anything, the abuse, the racism, the sexism, the church scorn that she experienced, and the triumph that she had, and the love, the pure love that my parents shared and gave to me and my sister, Catherine. So, yeah, speaking
And,
from
and
your
your book. And your book did the same darn thing. It's in the class of Martin Luther King and Mandela and your mom, and maybe None Better fits in there too. But I think that's the concept, isn't it? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
And it
absolutely.
impacts people more than we can ever imagine. More. I know that all of those books that we've talked about, Martin Luther King, Mandela, your mom, you, and me, we have all saved somebody's life. We've all put some things in people's lives that they could say, oh, yes, I can get through this. I can do this. Oh, I'm so grateful. All these wonderful things.
Yeah, saved lives, true. And there's people who've read our books who we have no idea how we might have touched them. Yeah, same with all of our authors here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. We've published dozens and dozens of memoirs that our authors wrote from their hearts and souls. And most of them wrote their books before AI or Chat GPT was an option. And there are actual other, not just Chat GPT, but there are other AI programs that are specifically designed to write a book. So this is growing. And it's a huge temptation for people, but all of our authors have specifically written their own books. And we do have a clause in our contract that says, authenticates the fact that these authors say, yes, I wrote it myself and I did not use AI to write my book.
That makes me feel so proud too, to know that, I'm the one who did this. You're the one who did this. It's like a ball player, or I go back to the darn sports world that I love. It's that ball player that actually hit that home run or did that leap on a trampoline or whatever. But it's like it's personal. It's personal.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, what would you recommend and advise, especially young people? Let's take the people under the age of the Z, under age 26, who are so computer and techie. What are your recommendations to them?
You mean if they want to write a book,
Yes.
they should journal, like journal with a pen, old fashioned hand, or I journal on a computer because it's fast and I type really fast. So they should journal to get used to expressing their own stories in their own voice. Now, people in that generation are constantly texting. Texting is storytelling. And also, if they are on social media and they're doing videos, they're storytelling. They're posting even pictures, they're storytelling. So that will flex their voice to to stay in how they talk and how they express themselves because everybody expresses themselves differently. We all have our little catchwords. Some people say like, some people say, you know what I mean, all the time. Some people say, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so they stay in their own cadence, their own rhythm and style of speech. And so, really important to flex that on a daily basis and stay in that. And then, if they decide to write a book, they can draw from their own journal entries, which a lot of people do, because when you write in your journal, you're absolutely speaking your truth because you think nobody's going to read this, hopefully. But then, if you're writing it with the intention of using this as real-time experience to write your memoir someday, highly recommend that. Then that's really powerful. So draw from that and it's your own voice. So, Joni, I think it's good for people to use AI if it's helpful, but when it comes down to writing a book, do not do it, regardless of your age. I did see a study that says people who use more and more, who rely more and more on AI to do the writing, they become lazy and their writing
Oh,
brain muscles, so to speak, weaken because they're not flexing that genius zone like they normally do to write, to compose. And if you start relying on AI to write, just say a blog post, which can write a blog post like that, and then you decide, oh, I'm going to write it myself, and it takes you hours of strenuous brain activity to compose and edit and revise. No. And the temptation is huge. So
mhm,
I
mhm.
I warn, I say all you writers out there, please rely on your own mental capacity to do your writing because that's what's real and that's what's most appealing.
Awesome. 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 High tens. High tens on that, Elizabeth.
Thanks,
Yes.
Joni. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Yeah. Um,
Yes.
and again, I love using it. And I saw this very chilling interview yesterday online about the possibility of, it sounds like a sci-fi movie, but the possibility of AI killing humans. This was the interview I saw by some experts killing humans because they outsmart us. And they're like, we don't need you guys anymore. We don't need humans. We can take over everything. That's very chilling. And again, it sounds like a sci-fi horror movie, but I heard some experts talking about it online yesterday.
Wow. Wow. No, I'd rather give people hugs. My gosh. Oh
That is
my God.
awesome. That's great,
Oh.
Joni. I'd rather give people hugs. That's beautiful.
Yes, for
Mhm.
sure. I
Mhm.
mean, how can you, when you give somebody a kiss on the cheek or the lips, or you give them a nice big hug, I mean, there's nothing better. So that they feel so good and you feel so good, and there's a
Mm.
connection.
Yeah.
And I think that's what our writing does when we write authentically, as we've
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like giving everybody a big hug with our book. That's what we're
Oh,
seriously.
that
So
is
every
awesome.
time somebody opens up that page and or on the ebook or on audiobook, but either way, and it's like we're giving them a great big hug as they're reading who we are and what we want to say to them. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah. And I think
Oh.
there's sort of it feels like forgery. It feels like fraud if you have a computer write your book for you.
Mm, mm,
It's
mm.
fake. It's not
Yeah.
you. It's your
Yeah.
prompts. But now there are times when there's a sentence that's just jumbled and it's
Hmm.
just a mess. And if I put it in Chat GPT for to say clarify, especially with those tricky words that are confusing, like do you use which or that? Do you use was or were? And so sometimes I use
Well,
Chat GPT to tell me how the sentence should be written correctly. And that's super helpful and saves a lot of time. So again, I do use it and I love it, but not for writing books.
well, and I thanks be to God for you and Catherine and Leah and Sally and Gail and Maggie, who were my editors. Is it that? Where? What? All those questions you just
Right.
asked. It was like, I
Exactly.
don't know, so
Yeah.
please help me. Again, that's the team and that's the personal connection. Can I come back
Yeah,
to something you said earlier?
of course.
You held up your pen,
Yeah.
you know, and you talked about doing it old school or the connection between your pen, your brain, your heart all in
Right.
one.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know this, but my honey Carol, she was a grapho analyst. And so
Oh,
she analyzed handwriting. She
yeah.
did court cases. She did consultations for companies and corporations and hiring and firing based on people's handwriting. And she
Wow.
said that it's not just handwriting, whether you stuck that pen or pencil between your toes or your fingers, your strokes of your personal handwriting are all expressions of the lived experiences you've had in your life.
Wow.
And I mean, even to this day, I use some of the things that the letter T, where you cross that letter T when you write it out. If you're a low crosser, your goals are low. If you're in the middle, your goals are medium. If you're right on top of the T, you have high goals and ambitions. If you're
What?
above that T, your goals are way too far out there and non-realistic for you. So that's just one example of strokes and things, And so when I do my own writing, I look at my T's. So like when I write your name, Elizabeth with the T in there, where is my T line? You know,
Wow.
yes. And so there's so many things, but again, it comes back to the lived experiences that you're able to express in this old fashioned way, you know
Yes.
and I
Yes.
think that's what we do. And that's what your company does. That's what, yeah, and we have to remember everybody out there, Elizabeth has their own business, their own company. She's not just an author. They run this huge business, contacting people all the time, talking and speaking and helping people. And once you wrap your mind around that it's like over 60 books that Two Sisters has helped produce for our world, that's 60 individuals and all the other contacts related to that. That's huge. You have such
Wow.
a business. And I think that people watching podcasts, they don't get, oh, we're just watching a podcast. We're talking to a business owner that has just taken this world by storm and making
Oh.
fun for other people. That's
Oh.
your heart. That's authentic.
Thanks,
So
Joanie. You're
I know you
so
didn't pay me
awesome.
for a commercial, but I just threw that in there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so, so much. It's just a beautiful thing to be able to share what I know and help other people achieve the dream of being a published author. Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome. You're welcome. From the
that's
top of my heart,
amazing.
you're welcome.
Oh, thank you. And last week we did the podcast from the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Cleveland, where I was doing a workshop on how to be a ghostwriter and publisher. And so many people came up to me and said, wow, I really learned so much. And one person called me and said, this was my favorite workshop of the whole convention. I know. So that's the
Awesome.
best to be able to contribute to an organization and to people. An organization that I love that's been so beneficial for me and contributing and helping other writers ascend into their greatness is just the best feeling. So
You're a
I'm grateful.
dynamo. So why don't we do that next week?
What?
Let's have a mini camp of what you presented at the conference. Well, I don't know
Okay.
if that would be
No,
appropriate or not. I'm just throwing
yeah,
it out
yeah.
there.
I was talking about how to be a ghostwriter, Joni, and that's a great idea. I would love to share with all the writers out there how to be a ghostwriter, how to write books for people who hire you to write their book. I love that topic, Joni. Let's do it. So,
Okay,
yeah,
let's do. And
everybody.
can we rename it? Can we call it Angel instead of Ghost?
Yeah, I like to say angel writer, but nobody knows what I'm talking about. So I say ghost
Okay,
writer just because that's the common term that's used. And I actually
okay.
said during the workshop, I prefer the term angel writer.
Mhm.
But again, if you say, yeah, I'm an angel writer, what does that mean? So you say ghost writer and people know, oh, okay, she writes books that people hire her to write. Makes more
Mhm.
sense.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Yes.
all you writers out there who are watching or listening, please make sure to tune in. And next week we'll be talking about how to be a ghostwriter.
There we go. And have some angel wings.
Yes, have some angel wings.
I don't even have a prop here today. Can I tell you why?
Yes.
My house is in disarray. So the crew has already started, and new flooring and new paint job and everything is going to be going on as a gift from my nephew Will for wonderful Aunt Joanie. And I'm just so humbled. I've burst into tears many a time. So I
Oh,
am literally in disarray. And so I have no
oh,
prop. It is absolutely a mess, and I'm loving it. I'm
wow,
absolutely loving it. So
Joanie.
I will come back in double time next week for two props.
So that's another show episode topic because your writing environment, your living
Oh,
environment is so very important for your creativity. You have
totally.
to have an inspiring environment that's clutter-free, that's pretty, that for me, I keep it cold. I like to have the cold air keeps my brain revved and my body. Otherwise, I get sleepy if it's warm and can't focus. So
Mhm,
your
mhm.
environment has to be really, really conducive to your creativity and your energy and your focus. So let's talk about that another time too, Joni.
Okay. Okay. I remember one time when I was writing, I don't know, remember which of the three books. It's not funny now. Now that I've written three books, I don't remember which one. But anyways, one time I was really, really hot and I was writing and I go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get an ice cube. So I got an ice cube and I slid it down my back. Woohoo! That rejuvenated me. Then I sat in a puddle of water for a while as I wrote. But you know what? It was all good. It was all good.
Oh,
Silly
that's
me.
beautiful. Joni, when will your home renovations be done?
They're predicting 10 to 12 days.
Okay, okay. So when it's done, that's when we'll do an episode about your writing environment. So you can maybe
Okay.
show us your
Okay.
space if you want.
Super. Absolutely. Yep. I'm calling it the Queer Eye version. If you
Cute.
haven't ever watched everybody, yeah, Queer Eye is a great story or Netflix or something on TV where anyhow, so it's a queer eye renovation.
Oh,
So
I
I
love
think I've
it.
already got some rainbows planned and some more colors and things like that. So we'll see what
Beautiful.
happens, but thank you.
That's
And
awesome.
then you'll get to visit again and you'll go, oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah, we'd
so
love to
fun.
have you anytime.
Thanks, Joni. So when we
Yeah.
visited a couple summers ago, no, was it? No, it was cold out. But anyway, Joni created this beautiful lunch. We had salad. Was it fresh crab
Yes.
and avocado? And it was in her pretty
Yes.
living room, and it was just delightful. Several people around the table, so much love. Oh, it was for your Joyously Free book release in March of 2023.
None better. None better.
None better. I'm sorry, I knew that.
That's
None
okay.
better.
March of 23. It's only
Yeah.
been 2 years ago.
Wow. That's amazing. Like, look
Yep.
at what's happened since the release of your memoir, Joni. You have a syndicated radio show on NPR called Joyously Free. You've been to more than a dozen prides. You've traveled,
24.
how many?
24
You've been to 24 prides.
in 2 years.
That's mind-blowing. You've been to multiple states having book signings. You've spoken
Mhm.
at churches and conferences and bars, restaurants, libraries, treatment centers. It's remarkable what you've done. And you're just so exemplary as an author who truly believes in what you've created authentically without the help of AI to take your message and your mission out into the world to make magic happen for people in profound ways. So I
Thank
commend
you.
you, Joni, for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you. Thank you.
welcome.
Yeah, AI doesn't get you to a library or a book event.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any final words for our aspiring authors out there about AI?
I think my final word is listen to this podcast several times, glimmer what you can, and write from your heart.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautifully said.
Yes.
Okay, Joni, thank you for that. And all you writers out there, please, like Joni said, listen a few more times, really absorb the message that writing is an authentic and raw, real experience that can only be done at its best from your heart, soul, brain, and lived experience, period. So you can use AI as a support tool like I do, and it's very convenient, very helpful,
Mhm,
saves time,
mhm.
money, brain energy. But when it comes down to your storytelling, it's authentic and it's your words, your way. So follow that, and your readers
Yes.
will celebrate you and you will touch their lives in profound ways as a result. So please share this with any other aspiring authors out there. We really appreciate you. We'd love to hear your comments. If you'd like any specific topics that we can address for you, please put them in the comments. And also, go to twosisterswriting.com. I am a book coach. I would love to help you. You can learn about how I can help you do that, as well as how we can publish your book. So, in the meantime, after you visit Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, we wish you happy reading and happy writing. We'll see you next week.
You got it. You got it. All right. Hugs, hugs, bowing down to my guru here. Yes, yes, yes. Big hugs. Happy day, everybody.
You're so fun, Joni.